There's a place where every sunrise seems to awaken ancient legends, where the wind carries whispers of the past, and where emerald fields stretch endlessly beneath dramatic skies. This is Ireland, a land shaped by myth, molded by history, and kissed by the wild Atlantic. Known as the Emerald Isle, Ireland's beauty is no exaggeration. Its landscapes shimmer in countless shades of green, its people are as warm as its rolling hills, and its culture dances between the mystical and the modern. But beyond the familiar postcards of castles and cliffs lies another Ireland, one many travelers never truly see. A land of sacred valleys, vibrant towns, haunting ruins, and timeless coastlines. So join us as we explore Ireland you've never seen before. Our journey begins on the windswept western coast, in the heart of Galway. This lively harbor city is often called the cultural capital of Ireland, a place where creativity thrives as naturally as the tides that roll into Galway Bay. Its medieval quarter is a maze of cobblestone streets and colorful shopfronts, where buskers play violins and guitars under stone archways. In the evenings, the pubs come alive with traditional Irish music, fiddles, bodhrans, and voices raised in song. Galway is also one of the few cities where you can still hear Irish Gaelic spoken naturally, particularly in nearby Connemara and the Aran Islands. The city's energy feels young, yet its roots are ancient. Walk along the River Corrib to the old Spanish Arch, built in the 1500s, where merchants once traded wine, silk, and spices. Or visit Ayr Square, surrounded by lively cafes and bustling markets. Galway is a fusion of the old and new, where centuries-old culture still beats in the heart of a modern creative city. From Galway, the ferry carries you across the waves to the rugged and mystical Aran Islands, Inishmore, Inishmain, and Inisheer. Time slows here. Stone walls stretch endlessly across the windswept landscape, dividing the land into tiny fields. On Inishmore, the largest island, stands Dun Amhasa, a prehistoric fortress perched dramatically on a cliff 100 meters above the Atlantic. Archaeologists believe it dates back more than 3,000 years, yet its purpose remains a mystery. Further south lies one of Ireland's most picturesque harbor towns, Kinsale, often called the prettiest town in Ireland. Nestled at the mouth of the River Bandon, Kinsale's streets are a rainbow of pastel-colored houses, craft shops, and seafood restaurants. But behind its charm lies a deep and turbulent history. On one side of the harbor stands James Fort, built in the early 17th century after the Battle of Kinsale, a turning point that shaped Ireland's destiny. Across the water, Charles Fort, a massive star-shaped stronghold, guards the bay. From its walls, the view of the harbor is breathtaking, especially at sunset. Just beyond the town, the old head of Kinsale juts dramatically into the Celtic Sea, a narrow peninsula crowned by a lighthouse that has guided sailors since the 1600s. The cliffs here are steep and windswept, offering panoramic views of endless blue horizons. Beneath these waters lies the tragic wreck of the Lusitania, a passenger ship sunk in 1915, a haunting reminder of the area's place in world history. As the road winds westward, the land grows wilder, leading you to the Dingle Peninsula, one of the most breathtaking places in Ireland. This remote stretch of County Kerry offers the feeling of being at the very edge of the world. The landscape here is extraordinary: steep mountains, green valleys, and golden beaches that curve gently along the Atlantic. But it's also a place steeped in ancient history. More than 500 stone structures dot the peninsula, some over 1,000 years old. The famous beehive huts, or clachans, built by monks during the Dark Ages, stand as silent witnesses to a time when Ireland's scholars and holy men preserved knowledge that would later reshape Europe. Drive along the Slee Head Loop, a coastal road that twists along dramatic cliffs and offers some of the most spectacular views in the country. The Blasket Islands hover just offshore, once home to a small community of Irish-speaking fishermen who lived in near isolation until the 1950s. Heading east again, not far from Dublin, lies one of the country's most peaceful and sacred places, Glendalough, the Valley of the Two Lakes. Hidden within the Wicklow Mountains, this ancient monastic site was founded in the 6th century by Saint Kevin, a hermit monk who sought solitude in these wooded hills. The valley is a place of serene beauty, where still waters reflect the surrounding forests and mountains like a mirror. The monastery ruins here are hauntingly beautiful. Stone churches and Celtic crosses dot the glen, while the round tower, rising nearly 30 meters, stands as a symbol of endurance. During Viking raids, monks would pull up the ladder and seek refuge inside, preserving the manuscripts and sacred relics that carried Ireland's spiritual legacy. Far to the north, where the Atlantic pounds against towering cliffs, nature reveals one of her most astonishing masterpieces, the Giant's Causeway. Here, more than 40,000 hexagonal basalt columns rise from the sea, forming an intricate pattern so perfect it seems sculpted by human hands. Legend says the giant Finn McCool built the causeway as a bridge to Scotland to confront his rival. Science, however, tells a story of volcanic eruptions, lava flows, and erosion, forces that shaped this natural wonder 60 million years ago. Further south, the wild beauty of Killarney National Park awaits, a living postcard of Ireland's natural splendor. Located in County Kerry, it was Ireland's first national park, established in 1932, and remains one of its most beloved treasures. The park is home to shimmering lakes, dense oak forests, and the rugged McGillicuddy's Reeks Mountains, including Ireland's highest peak, Carrauntoohil. Within its borders stands Muckross House, a grand Victorian mansion draped in ivy and surrounded by gardens that bloom in every color. Nearby, Ross Castle, built in the 15th century, overlooks the calm waters of Lough Lean, its reflection shimmering in the golden light. The best way to experience Killarney's beauty is to travel through the Gap of Dunloe, a glacial valley carved by ice thousands of years ago. The road winds between jagged peaks and tranquil lakes, passing ancient stone bridges and grazing sheep. Whether you hike, cycle, or take a traditional horse-drawn cart, it's an unforgettable journey through one of Ireland's most breathtaking landscapes. In the heart of the Boyne Valley lies a place where Ireland's story stretches back 5 millennia, Brú na Boyne, the ancient Palace of the Boyne. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is home to 3 massive Neolithic passage tombs, Newgrange, Noath, and Douth, older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Built by Stone Age farmers around 3200 BC, their purpose remains a mystery: tombs, temples, or something even more profound. At Newgrange, massive carved stones guard the entrance, and the white quartz facade gleams in the sunlight. Once a year, on the winter solstice, the rising sun aligns perfectly with the passageway, illuminating the inner chamber in a golden glow. For a few precious minutes, the light floods the darkness, connecting the present with a civilization long gone. It's one of the world's most extraordinary astronomical events, proof that Ireland's ancient people were both builders and dreamers. And then there's Dublin, Ireland's beating heart, a city where history and modern life intertwine effortlessly. Founded by the Vikings over 1,000 years ago, Dublin has grown into a vibrant capital filled with stories, culture, and creativity. The streets are alive with energy, from the Georgian architecture of Merrion Square to the lively chatter spilling out of Temple Bar's pubs. Here stands Dublin Castle, a fortress first built in the 13th century, once the seat of British rule in Ireland. Nearby, St. Patrick's Cathedral, completed in 1260, soars toward the sky, a Gothic masterpiece filled with centuries of history. But Dublin is not trapped in its past. It's a city of poets and revolutionaries, musicians, and dreamers. Walk across the Halfpenny Bridge, explore the James Joyce Centre, or visit the Guinness Storehouse, where the story of Ireland's most famous drink unfolds. In the pubs, strangers become friends over laughter, music, and of course, a perfectly poured pint. Dublin is the essence of Ireland's soul, warm, witty, and endlessly alive. Finally, on Ireland's western coast, the land meets the sea in a breathtaking spectacle, the Cliffs of Moher. Rising more than 700 feet above the Atlantic and stretching for 14 kilometers, these cliffs are both majestic and humbling. The wind whips through your hair as you stand on the edge, gazing out over an endless horizon. The Aran Islands shimmer in the distance, and seabirds, puffins, guillemots, and razorbills glide effortlessly along the cliff face. The cliffs have inspired countless artists, poets, and filmmakers, from Harry Potter to The Princess Bride. But no photograph or movie can truly capture what it feels like to stand here, hearing the roar of the waves and feeling the ancient earth beneath your feet. The cliffs of Moher are not just a view. They're an experience that stays with you long after you leave. So if this journey through Ireland you've never seen before has inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. There are so many corners of our world waiting to be discovered, and together we'll keep exploring them, one story at a time.